Welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Sean Anderson, and on this edition of Coach's Corner, as promised, Coach Burris, the head coach of the Ponca City Wildcat baseball team, with us. And Coach Burris, first of all, before we get started, the field looks great. Tell us about the new turf at the baseball stadium.
Oh, it's amazing. You know, we've been talking about it. I think we're one of only about 4 or 5, I think, in at least the state that have turf in some capacity. So it makes life easier. I mean, it's easier on us, easier on the kids. It's such a wonderful addition. You know, you don't have to worry about rainouts as much.
Right.
It cuts down on the field work. It cuts my time in about half as far as what it takes me to take care of that field nowadays. And then cleanup's easy. It's a breeze, so it's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, that was the first thing that came to mind is how much time, because I know a lot of being on the baseball team, aside from the practice and the games and everything that you do to get ready for the season, there's also a lot of time spent maintaining the field and to not have to be in groundskeeper mode constantly. That's got to be nice.
Yeah, it's we figured out before practices, before games, and after practices and games, it was about a 30 to 40 minute job of just cleaning everything up, getting everything prepared. And then whenever it came to the weekends, as far as taking care of that field, it was about a 2.5 hour job, which now it's about an hour for me. And then after practices and games, it's kind of about a 5-10 minute job and go home. So
right.
It makes it a lot easier.
That's the way. Well, the Ponca City Wildcat baseball team had a fantastic trip together down to Gulf Shores, Alabama, and it was a tournament. You played 4 games. Tell us how it went.
Yeah, it was we usually take spring break trips every single year, and this year we decided to go to Gulf Shores I'd heard about it from some coaches buddies of mine, see what it was about, and it actually turned out to be a wonderful trip. I mean, we went down there, ended up going 2-2, which this year has kind of been a rough year so far, but we went down there, got a lot of things corrected, we feel, and came back a better team and probably a lot closer team overall, which that's the whole point of spring break, and that's what we felt like that we got accomplished. So beat 2 quality clubs and had a chance to beat a third that ended up actually winning the tournament and just fell short.
Yeah. Tell me about the level of competition. When you go to a tournament like that, teams are coming from all over. Is it what you expected?
Yeah, it was. You know, generally when we go out to Arizona, there's times where we play teams that are either a little bit less than us or far above us at times. And just this year, we actually felt like most of the teams that we were competing against were on our same level or maybe just a little bit above at times. But it wasn't something that it was that far of a stretch. Unfortunate thing was we went down there and our first game was against Claremore, which it's kind of fortunate to drive all the way down there and play a team from Oklahoma.
Right.
Sometimes that's just how things are with everybody traveling. But then after that, we got to face, like I said, a team that ended up winning the tournament overall. They were a quality ball club, probably the second best team we've seen this year besides Broken Arrow. And then faced another quality team that we ended up beating, and then faced a kid that had actually signed with the University of Arkansas on the mound. Faced him for an inning, switched him out, and we actually ended up coming back from not 1 but 2 deficits in that game on the very last day, 7-1 and 11-8, and extra innings ended up winning it in 9-12-11. So it was exciting to see the change and transformation of the kids over that time period. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, wonderful time, Gulf Shores, Alabama, and a spring break trip like that, like you said. Not all about all work. Still have some time to do some team bonding experiences, that camaraderie. That's a part of a trip like that. Tell us, what did the baseball team get a chance to enjoy?
Oh, they got to enjoy quite a bit. I mean, we got down there about a day or 2 ahead of schedule. So we got down there on Saturday. It was just kind of a relax, enjoy, kind of decompress from that long of a trip. And then Sunday, went out, practiced, and then they got to enjoy the beach several times, got to enjoy a bunch of restaurants around there. Had a day where we just went out on one of the last days, played mini golf as a group, and got just to have the bonding. And kids were wonderful overall, zero problems. The only thing that we kind of laughed about is they wanted to stay in their hotel rooms a lot and play video games, which as a coach, it's kind of a, come on guys, let's go. But it's also not so bad because they're good kids and not causing any problems in there doing those things. So
right.
A little bit less of a worry for me overall. So it was fun though. I feel like we came back a better, more together group. Yeah. Yes.
All right. Well, it's going to be a good season for the Ponca City Wildcat baseball team. And today, now as we film this edition of Coach's Corner, it is Monday, likely Wednesday, Thursday, or even beyond when you're watching this. But as we film this, today's scheduled to go to Northwest Classen, weather permitting, of course.
Yes.
And then tomorrow, the JV team, tomorrow being Tuesday, the 27th, the JV team hosting Chisholm right here in Ponca City. That game starts at 5 o'clock, or started at 5 o'clock if you're watching this after Tuesday. But let's talk about this weekend, all right? Games that are upcoming. Going to split the squads, varsity and JV. Varsity headed to the big tournament in Bartlesville, JV down to Guthrie. Let's talk Bartlesville. What can you expect with this weekend's tournament?
Oh, it's a different tournament. It's a wood bat tournament. We've had quite a bit of success there in the past, and nice to kind of go back to that traditional style of baseball with wood bats, and we'll see one familiar foe in Bartlesville, and then we'll get to play teams from Missouri after that. So it gives us a chance to see people from outside the state and go compete and try to get better.
Yeah. Now, for those who don't know, me being one of them, the difference between the wood bats and the aluminum bats.
A lot of changes in them, and just kind of keep it simple. Aluminum bats are usually a little bit more forgiving as far as what they call that sweet spot that the kids can hit it on. It's usually a little bit bigger, and an aluminum bat and wood bats are not quite as forgiving. It's kind of one of those things where if you've got a good swing, you can still drive a baseball. If you do not, then it kind of takes a little bit away from it and at times. And biggest thing overall is you can break a wood bat. Not as easy as what they used to be, but you can still break them. We've been fortunate in the fact that I think in the last 2 or 3 years we've been playing it, I think we've only broken one bat each time we've been over there. It's kind of usually a competition among the kids, unfortunately, to see who can break the first bat, and they all kind of laugh at each other.
Is that an honor? Is that an honor if you break a bat?
Well, I guess the kids nowadays, it's really not a great thing to be able to do, but some kids just enjoy that aspect of it because it makes them feel like a big leaguer, I guess.
Right, exactly. Well, the Ponca City Wildcat baseball team having a good time. They did have a great time in Alabama, and they're looking forward to this Bartlesville tournament. The varsity squad, JV, headed down to Guthrie. You send the JV to a team like that, or to a tournament like that, especially at the same time the varsity's in a tournament, you've got to split up your coaching squad. That's a question. How do you handle that?
Well, we have 2 guys that have been there with me for the duration of my time as far as being here, and they were even here before that with previous head coaches. And so those guys stick with me, and then we've got a group of younger coaches that have come up, and all really good coaches, all have a bright future ahead of them, and they will be with the JV. And so we've got 6 total. We'll have 3 with the varsity, 3 with the JV that'll be able to go and coach them up. So.
All right, very good. Well, Pohai baseball, we want you to get out there and back the Cats. Good time for baseball. The weather, I know you're going to be looking forward to we're in spring, but really getting into the swing of spring with more consistent weather. I know you're looking forward to that as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we look forward to having Coach Burris on this program more in the future. Thanks for giving us a heads up and a update on the Pohai baseball team, and we look forward to having Coach Burris back with us again real soon. I'm Sean Anderson, and a big thank you to Coach Kristen Smith and to Coach Burris, and for everyone here, including Mr. Chris Adams. This is Coach's Corner. Thank you for watching. Until next time.